Hello, my name is Keith Cruz, and I am presenting a case on Southwest Airlines, a decision to expand outside existing borders. In 2004, Gary Kelly became CEO of Southwest Airlines, moving up from the position of Chief Financial Officer. Within the next 4 years as CEO, Mr. Kelly would face one of the toughest decisions that a chief executive officer can face when taking over the helm of a highly successful enterprise. The question at hand was, should Southwest Airlines, a winner in anyone's book, keep its existing strategy or make changes? Southwest Airlines began operations in 1971, having originally been founded in 1967, but delayed due to litigation in Dallas, Texas. They started as a regional carrier in the Texas interstate market. Southwest Airlines has grown by being a low-cost carrier. Its competitive low fares are often some 30% lower than most of its major rivals. Their strategy from the beginning was to be the low-cost leader in their industry by emphasizing average gate turnarounds that are faster than industry standard, open seating, no meals, just peanuts in flight, streamlined maintenance costs with just one type of jet, the Boeing 737, point-to-point flight routes as opposed to hub structure that most others in the industry employ, high employee productivity, utilize smaller, less congested airports, and no code sharing. Historically, Southwest enjoyed a compounded growth rate of 25% from 1972 to 2000, when revenues reached $5.7 billion. September 11th, 2001 created challenges for the entire industry, and Southwest saw revenue drop by 2% that year for the first time. By the time of Kelly's takeover as CEO, Southwest desired an annual growth of 8 to 10% to ensure quality and quantity of new personnel to meet the standards of the organization. By 2008, faced with rising operational costs, which were up by 35%, higher fares, soft demand, higher competition from low-cost, low-fare companies, and higher security in airports, Mr. Kelly said the following: "We have to transform our business model and expand our revenue. To do that, we have to transform or even construct our capabilities to offer new products and services." This juncture raises three important questions. One, how did Southwest transform their business model? Two, what challenges did they face in this transformation? And three, was the transformation successful and did they stick to their core values? How did Southwest transform their business model? By adding flights. The important challenge was to increase revenues without marring their image of being a low-cost carrier, if not the low-cost carrier. How did they do this? By winning more customers by improving the Southwest experience. Historically, Southwest has been able to increase its flight times and distances between destinations without sacrificing customer service, in large part because of their excellent service record. Popular routes such as Phoenix to St. Louis, Chicago to Las Vegas, and Denver to Orlando were added, as well as more short line routes. New markets. During the period from 2004 to 2008, Southwest greatly changed their strategy of smaller airports when they endeavored to move into the Philadelphia and New York markets. Philadelphia's move was predicated on U.S. Air, the dominant carrier at the time, not being able to provide the customer service that the market demanded. And it was only by servicing, and it was the only servicing airline for the city. By late 2008, Southwest had grown the Philadelphia operation to 65 flights per day. LaGuardia in 2008 offered challenges to Southwest that were unfamiliar to them. When ATA Airlines Incorporated ceased operations, 16 LaGuardia time slots became available, but they were to be acquired through a bidding process, which they eventually won with a bid of $7.5 million. Code sharing agreements. Code sharing agreements are agreements between two or more airlines to list certain flights in a reservation system under each other's names. Until 2005, Southwest had distinctly stayed away from these type of agreements. That year, Southwest opened the market to include Hawaii and LaGuardia through a code-sharing agreement with ATA. Developing supporting technologies. Without developing supporting technology structures such as code sharing or innovations in the boarding process would not be possible. Mandated in 2002 by Kelly, Southwest set out to develop those technologies. With these supporting technologies, other changes were made possible with the boarding process. Business select fares, upgrade loyalty program, and early bird fares. These changes made it possible to stay in the forefront of their loyal customer base. Cost management by hedge funding, by fuel hedging. Southwest Financial Department, under the direction of Gary Kelly as CFO before 2002, had already begun fuel hedging as a part of its cost management. Fuel hedging allows Southwest to plan toward profitability, plan its cash flows, and lower overall fuel expenses. Fuel hedging is done by locking in fuel cost over the next year by purchasing derivatives, which are futures that guarantee the cost of fuel over that period. The fuel market can be very volatile, and hedging is one way to ensure that your costs do not fluctuate. Each of these changes substantially transformed Southwest's business model. It is not difficult to imagine that without these changes between 2004 and 2008, the Southwest Airlines that we see today might be significantly different. Without the vision to transform, many businesses have ceased to exist. These businesses that at one time were at the pinnacle of success but have fallen include Sears, Blockbuster, Eastman Kodak, Sun Microsystems, and Gateway Computers. What challenges did they face in this transformation? When Southwest began expansion on the East Coast, it faced challenges with personnel and being able to maintain their love culture. Beginning in Baltimore, Southwest sometimes had to relocate Southwest veterans to new locations. This was to ensure that their culture remained true to their brand. Fare and service differences between Southwest and its competitors declined significantly during the first decade of the 21st century, making it more difficult to maintain their profit margins that they were used to. By beating their competition on average turnaround times of 25 minutes and greater average daily aircraft utilization of more than 11 hours, Southwest has been able to remain profitable. Philadelphia brought new challenges to Southwest in dealing with traffic delays. As Mike Van der Ven, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer, put it, we seem to operate either on time or with 3-hour delays. Likewise, LaGuardia offered challenges in going away from the company's original strategy of operating in a non-congested, low-cost airport. LaGuardia, along with the other two New York airports, account for 50% of all delays across the system. LaGuardia also posed problems with high landing fees and higher wages. Was the transformation successful, or did they stick to their core values? And looking at the financial data, it can be said that Southwest's business model transformation has been very successful. The following information has been compiled looking over the financials that were provided in the case study. And looking at the income statement, it should be noted that while overall revenue increased by 44% during that period, net income increased only 21%, which shows that competition was indeed cut into their profitability. Balance sheet figures agree with this statement as 2001 net profit was 8.1%, which had fallen to 6.5% in 2007. And looking over the balance sheet data, Southwest stockholders' performance would suggest that the changes have not been as favorable as the following shows: return on average total assets, return on stockholders' equity, and net margin all decreased over the 6-year period. It should also be noted that 2007 stockholders' position actually benefited from fuel hedging, which increased profit during that period. My conclusion is that while stockholders' performance had some setbacks due to increased competition, higher cost, and going into a major recession, the changes made by Gary Kelly and the executives of Southwest Airlines were the correct ones to make. The airline has continued to grow domestically 8 to 10% annually while keeping its customer brand loyal. And looking at the mission statement of Southwest, the mission of Southwest is dedicated to the highest quality of customer service delivered with a sense of warmth, friendliness, individual pride, and company spirit. We are committed to provide our employees a stable work environment with equal opportunity for learning and personal growth. They have been able to adhere to their values that have always been the core of their business. Thank you.